All right, I'm going to share with you the results of our maps. This is 2020. This is 2022. As you can see, there's a lot more precipitation around the bay in 2020 than in 2022. So if we scroll down here, we should expect a lot more red and purple dots in 2020 than in 2022. Unfortunately, our map does not look that impressive, but it does actually back up our theory of less precipitation means less dead zones. Because if you look at 2020 here, there's more purple dots, meaning there's more areas where there's completely lacking of oxygen in the water. And the red dots are actually more spread out, meaning that there's more areas where oxygen is below 2 milligrams per liter. And I want to talk about why there's so many red dots here in 2022 when there should be less dead zones in 2022. And the article actually mentions that in recent years, especially the last three, they've been implementing the better management practices. And part of that is making sure that the heavily populated areas are not contributing to the runoff into the bay of nutrients. So they've installed a lot more monitoring stations. And you can actually see that if we look at our data. Here you can see the dissolved oxygen. There was 26,101 data points are measurements taken in 2020, whereas in 2022 there was 40,544, nearly double the number of data measurements taken. The dead zones in 2020 were 1,993. If you divide that by the 26,101, it gives you a 7.6% of the recorded data points being dead zones. Whereas in 2022, there was only 2,208 recorded data points below 2 milligrams per liter. And if you divide that by the 40,544 total measurements taken, that's 5.4% of the data measurements being dead zones. So there is less dead zones recorded in 2022 than in 2020 by percentage, but there's just a lot more measurements taken in 2022, which is why our map doesn't look as impressive as it should. But it does back up our theory that less precipitation means happy fish, because less nutrients washing into the bay, less algae blooming, less bacteria consuming all the oxygen.